Okay, let's see if we can cover this plastic surgery mess with 3 products: a really good cream foundation, a bright white concealer, and a cool matte powder. Let's get started. Most makeup artists would tell you to use a peach colored color corrector to take out the purple in a bruise situation or a dark under eye or something like that. And that's correct. It absolutely is effective and it works. But you don't have to do it that way. There are products like this one that have enough pigment in them and they're versatile in other ways. Really, all you're going to get out of a peach color corrector is peach color correcting. So this has many different uses, and we're starting off here. I want to tap it in until it really no longer comes off on my finger. So I'm going to take my time. It's a little sore also, so taking my time serves a few purposes. I'll put some on my eyes. I still have some bruising on my eyelids as well. I'll use the excess up there. I may have to add a little bit. And now you can see that the bruise is peeking back through, but we're gonna go ahead and keep patting it out. And then we're gonna set it, and then we're gonna do another layer. So there's really no way to cover an intense discoloration like this minimally or without it looking like there's any makeup. So you got to pick one or the other. You're either going to do a really good job covering it, and from an arm's length distance or out in the real world, no one's really going to notice. Are you going to notice that it's a lot of makeup? Absolutely. But see yourself from another perspective and you'll be fine. Okay, so now when I touch this, nothing's coming away on my finger. So now it's time to go ahead and set it. I'm using a cool matte powder. It does have a little bit of color to it. You could also use a translucent, but this is gonna help give you a little bit of color correction as we go. And again, it has multiple uses with this little bit of color in it. Transparent also has multiple uses, but not too much. We don't want it to be powdery. We just want it to be set. We're gonna kind of dust it off a little bit. You could use any brush to do this. I'm choosing a smaller, finer one so that I can get into the little corners and creases. All right, so now we're gonna do another layer with that same concealer. And this time we're just gonna focus right on the area that's still discolored. You can use a brush to do this, but I find my fingers are always available, handy, usually pretty clean, and get the job done with just a tiny bit more finesse. Sometimes a brush is just gonna pick up too much product. So very gently patting that out. And that's a pretty solid coverage. Let's test it, make sure we're there, nothing's coming away. So let's go ahead and set it again. And now we're gonna give it a flesh color instead of this bright white. It's too bad I can't do anything about that bloodshot eye. So this probably should go on in with a tool of some sort. I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it right on. And I'm gonna cover some of this bruising first and show you that this really doesn't even need the whitening effect. Because when you use a cream foundation that has really good pigment, you just get so much more out of it than the silicone products that you're used to using. So I'm gonna just gently tap it on and hope that I don't disturb. There we go. So we're almost there. I'll work on my eye a little bit with some smaller tools. My fingernails are preventing me from getting into the little corners in there, but now you can see there's just a little bit of bruising peeking through right there. So we'll go ahead and set, now that it's a nice thin controlled layer, and then we'll go in with one more and we should be ready to move on to the other side and then finish out the makeup look. Okay, so I smoothed out a little bit of the makeup that I did on this lower bruising here, which is maybe still a tiny bit detectable, but I'd almost rather it look like a shadow or something than to just continue to pile makeup on it. So I'm gonna just focus on the area that really needs it. And now I am gonna use a brush and just go in. I want really just the smallest amount stippled on here to get rid of that last little evidence of bruising. And then we're ready to do the other side. What do you think? Okay, so here we have both sides pretty much covered. I'm gonna get in close and kind of let you see, like, it's not perfect. There's tape on my nose. From here, first of all, I feel like a baseball cap, sunglasses, lip gloss, and no one's gonna be the wiser at this level. If, however, I wanted to take this to another level, I would use an airbrush. Not everybody has this. I don't think everybody needs this, but it is something you should maybe know about because it is extremely effective in dealing with texture. So if I wanted to conceal the tape and the texture that I can see up close, this would do the trick. And even this is the Temp2 airbrush gun. This thing runs about $300 and you get a bunch of little small vials of color with it. These are the colors that I use the most, and you just drop it into the little well here. This is a little light for me, so I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of a darker shade. And I'm gonna swirl that up with a little brush that it comes with so you can kind of mix that. And then we're gonna turn it on and I'll show you how that works. So here you can see it did make the tape a little darker, didn't quite conceal as much as I wanted to, but it kind of looks like contour. And once I have contour in some other places, it'll all kind of even out, and I'll show you the final look here in a minute. So I have not done this side, but you can see you just go in circles a couple inches from your face and you just look for the improvement. And there you go. Okay, so here is the finished look. I feel like I could definitely go out in public like this without anybody being concerned about me or worrying about my welfare. So all of the products that I used, I put a link right here. There's a bundle and it's super simple. It's just high quality professional products. And Science of Pretty is all about teaching you how to increase your skill and decrease your products.